Why don't you suck it up? Why don't you stop complaining about this mental health problem? Do what the rest of us do and just go about our lives. So let me tell you about Sick Not Weak and why did I start Sick Not Weak? And I think what's really interesting about it is that it lived in my head for 2-3 years because I had found out the value of sharing. But I didn't actually share my dream or my goal for creating a website and a community because I had never done anything like that. So I kind of thought it was unattainable. But over the period of that time, I started to think, if this works, if this sharing works on television or on radio or in print or with a live audience, then why not create something that people will have access to all the time? The only way to reduce it even by this much is to be surrounded by people who understand you. It's no longer mine though. Sick Not Weak does not belong to me. It belongs to everyone that has taken part in this. And it's become bigger than I thought it would become very quickly, which has created all kinds of anxiety. Imagine that. Now here I am creating mental illness when the goal was to help people with it. So Sick Not Weak lived in my head for a while, then I threw it out there and all of a sudden people embraced it. People grabbed a hold of it and said, you know what, I believe in that. So it's no longer mine, now it's ours.
I had known about Michael's story initially when he came forward in the media about his struggle with depression, and I did actually write him an email early on just thanking him for coming forward and starting the dialogue for people like us that wouldn't be so ashamed or embarrassed anymore, and I had a lot of gratitude and respect for him.
When it comes to mental health problems, started about 18 years ago when I realized one day, you know what? I think the person that I was is gone. What happened to that person? And the person I am, I don't want to be, because depression doesn't warn you. It has this really amazing way to just gently change you bit by bit. So it's just like a little tap that keeps tapping you and tapping you. And you don't feel the tap at first. But then when you do feel it, all of a sudden it starts to really hurt. I was in a restaurant with my wife. And at the front of the restaurant, I felt just like I had for the previous 6 or 8 months, that I had lost all ability to experience joy. And by the time we had walked to the back of the restaurant, something had happened. And there was this, and this perhaps for me is the most emotional recollection of all. Because I can remember going, oh my God, I think I feel a little bit better. Oh my God. And it hit me at that point just how sick I was. Because you don't know how bad you feel until you start to feel a sense of normal again.
Turning point for me was learning about a friend from high school that recently took his own life. And I found it really, really, really upsetting. This was last year. And because I could completely relate to him. And in my own mind, I thought if I'd only been able to reach out to him in some capacity. I hadn't seen him in years, but he was always the guy at school that was really nice and super kind, and I got along with him very well. So, and he was married and had kids. So to hear that he struggled that much and was obviously in need of help, or maybe felt alone, I just kind of wish that I had been able to reach him in that way. And that made me realize, well, Sick Not Weak, that's hopefully the way to do it, is to just be able to speak to one person. Just one person would be so worth the stigma or the embarrassment of saying I have mental illness. So that was my inspiration. helped me take ownership of it, of depression and mental health awareness. It's helped me speak out more on social media. And I think Sick Not Weak helped me realize that there's no reason to be ashamed, and there's really no reason to hide it, because if I speak out about it and someone hears, one person hears me, then that will help them.
I think it's important that people know something about Sick Not Weak, that we're not trying to raise money to find a cure. That's not what we're about. We're not trying to do anything other than create the ideal circumstance. We can't have that circumstance. The ideal one would be here in my living room, that everybody with depression and anxiety and bipolar, we're all sitting around and we're giving comfort to each other, and we're all taking turns speaking, much like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. So the next best thing to me is to create this place called sicknotweak.com where people can feel like they are in my living room or in a church basement or whatever it is, because being surrounded by people who get you is the best way to feel better about yourself. sicknotweak.com has been really rewarding. And when I say that, I mean to all of us, because the goal was to reach and help that lonely person. And when you start to read emails and tweets and texts and Facebook messages that all say, you know, it made a difference in my life to be able to go to this website, to be able to go on a chat, and to be able to be heard and to have a voice. And I think the word that sticks out to me the most is that people say sicknotweak.com makes them feel like they matter.
My hope is that the conversation will continue, and that for when my girls are adults, and if either one of them faces mental health issues, that it won't be embarrassing to talk about. It won't be discriminated against. It won't be, oh, you're crazy, and oh, snap out of it.
I think we have a long way to go still. I think we're doing better, but for those who say that everything has changed, I don't believe that, because I hear from people, and we all do on a daily basis, who say, you know, I'm too ashamed, I'm too embarrassed, I feel weak, and therefore I'm not going to share.